how different that situation would have been for you if you would have, stuck to your initial point of view around, well, I checked, there was no one there, it was safe, I made this turn, and then just kept confirming your own belief systems like the whole time. Like, you would have walked away maybe feeling like that was unjust, or like, who knows what other things could have happened for you in that situation. And instead you were like, oh, this gives me the opportunity to reflect, and like, what other things could this be communicating to me about my life in general? What are things for me to be thoughtful about? What could this be telling me? What opportunity is this providing me? And I think just in general, if we are thinking about how can communication and perspective taking allow us to really excel in the world and create positive ripples in the world, so that we're, acting in our best interests, being heart-centered, and then also, giving that out to others, is so important for us to just be thoughtful about these types of things, and recognize that there's always the opportunity available. And I really believe like conflicts are not a problem. It's an opportunity. Either we could perceive it to be a problem, or we could perceive it to be an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to see a different perspective, an opportunity. I mean, there's lots of ways we can look at that.
And a lot of times you say you want an insurance policy, and then you're meeting somebody to get an insurance policy. You might be meeting that person for a whole nother reason. Right.
For sure.
Yeah, on a daily basis, people are getting in my Lyft, and we're pretending that I'm giving them a ride from point A to point B, but they're
we're not pretending about you paying your fare.
You actually want me to drive you over there? Okay, I thought you just needed help with your depression. It's the yes and situation, because a lot of these people couldn't. And there's some issues on my end as far as being approachable enough for that. It's a negotiation. I call it a negotiation with the universe. It's a negotiation with the universe that makes it more acceptable for them just to approach me, have that conversation, come step into my office it's maybe my mind gets bored, and it's just a creative way for me to look at the current perspective. But I really feel like, because it's happened so much. It's like people are going through stuff and they just land in my car, or when I was going through some stuff with my mom, and I wasn't able to talk to my family on a lot of the different things. I was having people that were in the industry that were saying, oh, you just need to do this situation. Like, I had 3 people in a row that worked in nursing homes pop in my car. Wow. Like on one day when I was going through some stuff.
Yeah, so the way the universe works in mysterious ways.
For sure. So it's you have to be able to have that yes and ground and be uncomfortable enough so you're in a situation that's a negotiation from the universe, instead of having your one perspective and expecting people to adhere to your one perspective 100%.
Yeah. I mean, we all have our preferences, we all have our beliefs, and our bias, right? Our bias is simply a preference. There's no negative connotation with the concept of bias. It's just simply a preference. However, if we are unwilling to open ourselves up, right, we will our own preference, our own beliefs, our own bias will constantly be confirmed over and over and over again, because we're only putting ourselves in situations that we're only open to ideas that confirm our belief system. And that's why I say conflict is so valuable, or being willing to listen to somebody else's point of view that is very different than your own. It's so valuable. So when you allow yourself, whether it's a community group or whatever it is that you choose to tap into, in a space that's different or diverse, there's just so much benefit to personal growth, to receiving new things in your life that you would have never expected. It elevates you to a different level. And that's why I say conflict is such a valuable tool in our growth and evolution. And if we just, if we can move past the fear of the discomfort of that push against our own belief system, we can battle confirmation bias, we can, battle, our own ego if we need to. And wow, the benefits of that are just so immense.
When I was on my, did you ever see the movie Powder?
Yes,
Yeah.
Where he gets, did he get struck by lightning in that movie? Anyways, it's a very powerful movie.
But Powder's a very pale, bald,
like albino
white person, but very, 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 very soft and vulnerable. But I was always worried at the beginning of my spiritual path of being like Powder.
Like the vulnerable, like the anomaly. You're so different, and that makes you kind of vulnerable.
But also
innocent.
from I was looking at vulnerability as a weakness at that point to a certain extent. But just being in that realm that people would say stuff to me, and all of a sudden I just start crying and to that strength. So a lot of times we think if I listen or have an understanding of somebody that's different from me, that's going to rub off on me. And it may rub off is one, but two, you may have more strength in your resolve. Because even though I'm more vulnerable, I'm more strong. That's how a grass grows, a blade of grass will grow through cement. Because it has that vulnerability.
Yeah, for sure. AKA strength, right? Our vulnerabilities are our strength, especially when it has to do with other human beings. What is her name?
Puddintain?
Something
Ask me
Brown.
again, I'll tell you the same.
There's an amazing researcher, speaker, her last name, Brene Brown, that's her name. And she has some amazing TED Talks out there. You can search them if you're interested. But she talks about vulnerability, and that vulnerability is like the key to unlocking like everything, to unlocking all of the things that hinder you, but most importantly, allow you to have very successful and enriching relationships. So yeah, vulnerability is so important in our life for sure.
So, homework?
I would love to invite you to go seek out something like a place that has individuals that are very diverse than you. Sign up for a paint class. Come to our cannabis wellness meetup. Come to a place where there's different people there, and challenge yourself to have a conversation with someone who you would envision that you normally would never have a conversation with them. And just be open for whatever unfolds itself. You will indeed receive something new because you're challenging yourself to be in a diverse setting. So that would be my homework.
And that's the homework. And I have some extra credit homework. Go into it, and I in my early growth, I this was in a book. So to deal with being uncomfortable, go into a 7-Eleven and go up to the counter and ask them, can you help me find the 7-Eleven? And just see how that feels. And don't explain to them after. You're like, when they say, oh, you're standing in it. I was like, oh, thank you. And don't explain it. Don't explain it. You can explain it to somebody else, but just do that for a fact.
Yeah. And then let us know.
Yeah,
let us know what your outcome was.
For sure.
We'd love to hear it.
Extra credit.
See you next time.
See you next time. Peace.